What's happening, y'all? You know what it is. It's time for the trade ideas for 11/3/22. Let's get into it, y'all. Y'all. What does it say? Y'all. All right, let's go ahead and remove draws and start from the top. Man, the NASDAQ has jumped off the side of the flat earth plane. I'm kidding. Look at this, yo. Look, so it came up and it was like, oh my gosh, we got to get off the flat earth. And it said, phew. And now, right now, it's below the flat earth plane. So this is the flat earth plane right here. You see, just think of it as maybe here, like this is probably a better representation of it. If we're looking at it kind of from a sideways angle. So anyways, that's the flat earth plane. It jumped off the flat earth plane. And now we're going down to the depths of Tartarus. So what we want to do now is we want to see, well, what can we expect as far as trades in the depths of Tartarus? Well, I'm glad you asked that. Let's go ahead and look at price, right? We have this zone. I like this zone because we're starting to come down to it, right? We're starting to come down here, but I think we're going to end up running this because we do. Ooh, I mean, it's a little bit imbalanced. Not really, but this hasn't mitigated. So, Brandon, how did you get to that particular zone? How did you get there? Boom, right? That's what I'm looking at right here. Just this little small hiccup in price action on the 1 hour, right? Started coming down, boom, came down, liquidated all of these lows, right? And then it, boom, shot back up. So that's how I'm getting in, just this very, very small intermediate NB. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the 30-minute, and let's see what else we can see. Yeah, so it's a very large candle down and a candle back up. So we're going to do it like this. Oh, so maybe that doesn't go like, there we go. There we go. That's what I like to see. Okay, so great. Now we're looking at that, and I mean, honestly, probably looking at that. So I want to ultimately see it come down into there. Now, Brandon, why are you using that one, and why aren't you using this NB right here, huh? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me that, Brandon? Why? Well, that's a great question. So I think, and this is just my thought, right? This is going into the very near future. People are feeling the pain in the economy, and people are starting to feel the pain of what's going to ultimately happen, print more money, and start, I'd say, laddering into the stock market so that people's investments continue to go up because all these people in here, the composite folks of the world, are like, oh man, all my investments are going down in the US 100. All these top tech companies are going down. You need to turn on the money printer. So they turn on the money printer. They start buying these back up to go higher. So, or maybe you got the people who are just like, dollar cost average. These prices are never going to be here again. This is the low. This is the bottom. So what I'm saying is I think we have room to run this right here, right? Because all the people that got excited, maybe we were going to become bullish again. Nah, bro, it's not happening. So I think we'll run this. We come in here, test this to ultimately go higher. And that is my ultimate thesis. Now, in the meantime, in between time, what we're looking at price is ultimately in this bearish movement now. So I'd say, okay, well, we want to see it come back up. We see here, price has actually mitigated to the open there, but it opened, mitigated, or it came up, right? So this will happen. Price opened, it came up, and then fell off. Can y'all see that? Hold on, let me make sure this video looks right. So let me zoom in for you just so you can see what I'm talking about. So price opened here, right? Opened here, it came up, mitigated some particular area in here, which now we still, let's go ahead and show you here, right? We still have this entire area. Hold on, let me make sure I have this saved. I think this one is the maybe zones. No, it's not zones. Let me make sure I get the right gray. Okay, so it's the fifth from the left. So great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this right here. I'm going to make this not white. I'm going to make the filling. Oh, the filling is white here. That's interesting. So I'm going to make this blue. So that means we still technically have this area in here unmitigated, right? And so we can go down here into the 5 minute, we can look and see what happened with price. It looks like it opened. We have this large wick up, and then it starts to get a little bit more fringe here, right? Because then we're going down to the 1 minute. We're saying this is the 1 minute zone. Now, again, price is indeed fractal, right? There's always somebody trading at some particular point in time. But as you can see, now when we zoom in on the one, there we go. And it looks like price was actually mitigated at the open. So then you say, okay, well, this is the remainder of the area that hasn't been mitigated in this larger unmitigated zone, right? You guys see that? And this was a 15 minute. That's what I was talking about, this area here. So we refined it all the way up here, right? First we started right here where this arrow kind of comes up. You see this wicks open and then it falls off. We started there and then we started to refine the zone to say, hey, it could potentially come up to here. So then, well, what do? That's a lower time frame refinement. What we can do is say, hey, okay, we're going to leave that there and expect price to come up into here before we ultimately sell off there. So we're pretty far from there, you would say, right? We're actually all the way down here. And if we look to the left, we're like, okay, well, is there a way that we could potentially get involved somewhere in here? Is price actually going to come back up there and mitigate? And that's where we look now, down into these areas. So let's go here. Let's go ahead and change this back to our white color. And then we say, okay, well, what's going on here particularly? We look and we say, okay, well, we had that MB that I'm refining down to a supply zone to look to get involved on lower time frames, because ultimately that's just how I am as a trader right now in my life, is I like these lower time frames. So then we look and we see, okay, well, price broke down. It broke down right here. So, whoops, right here, boom, right? And it actually body closed here. So then we're saying, well, where did that come from? Ultimately, somewhere in here. Could it came from up here? Boom. I'd have to ultimately, honestly, I would say this. I would probably use this right here, this candle. Because you can see it opened, it came up, mitigated, it opened, and then it fell off. So I'd say I'd be looking for a short in here. So I'm just going to put an alert right there. Let's go to my handy dandy notepad. There we go. And we'll just go ahead and let that fly right there. So this is lower time frame, right? 15 minute. And so I'll go ahead and leave this here just so I realize that it could exist. But I think ultimately I'd like to see a short off there to get involved. I mean, we were already red today. I think there's no reason why we don't continue red to finish off the day. So let's go ahead and look at the GBPJPY. Let's go ahead and remove our drawings, and let's go up to the higher time frames, meaning the hourly. Looks like we're coming back into this choppy zone that we were talking about previously. Super, super choppy. And so when I'm looking at this particular price action, I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, well, we have a lot of area to move down here. We have a lot, right? Because we see these large candles moving up right here, right? Large candles. We have some room in there to come back. And then we see here mitigate about 50% of this previous candle. So I don't know if I'd use that, but we see, just again, large candles, large moves up. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. So then we ask the question, well, how much more bullish can we actually get here? Right? Bearish. Bullish. So how much more bearish can we get here? So what we're going to do is we're going to look here. We look left. Okay, great. We're coming in here somewhere. But I think ultimately we run these lows, right? We run this and we continue down somewhere in here. So it could be this minor stop. So we look at price action. Let's go ahead and paint a picture for ourselves. Boom, 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 boom. Comes down, slide up, comes down again, liquidates all of this, then breaks down, shoots up, right? Slight move up. So what I would ultimately say is this particular hiccup in price, I'd want to see us come into here before we started to turn around. I definitely want to see us come down to here before we started to turn around. So with that in mind, now we have a target to the downside, right? We have a target where we want to go and mitigate. Now let's go ahead and form the top of the range. So we see price action. Let's go ahead and look a bit more recent. See price meandering, boom. It has a wick close here, so not the most beautiful of price actions. And we finally have a break above all of this right over here, right in this area, right? So right here, see this break? See? Right there. So breaks up, where did that come from? Well, ultimately you could say down into here, or you could say into here, breaks down, breaks up, right? And we had this right here that we may have been looking after, and it continues just to flow up. When you see it break down, so right now, that is our move up, right? And then we ultimately, man, how come it didn't stick there? That's interesting. Okay, fascinating. So this actually goes here like that. Boom. We see a nice body close right here, and it just continues to fall off. So I'd say this looks pretty good, right? It's still inside here, but I don't know if we see price come all the way back up to here. So we do see some potential moves on the hour, like right here, for instance. That might be a good one. It's about 50% mitigation of this overall block, but let's zoom in a bit. Let's go pure technicals. Yeah, so we see price come up, we see it break, we see here. Yeah, I mean, where'd it come from there? It just keeps falling off. So, I mean, we know GBPJPY doesn't have super volatility on a day-to-day basis. So maybe we see something like this. More recent price action would lead me to believe that maybe some spring somewhere, because we're in this area over here, right? This area right here where there was a lot of really back and forth, lots of volatility. Now we're falling into it. We're getting a really huge rejection here. Price is starting to move back up. And we'll probably feel this come back a little bit lower before ultimately coming to tap into here somewhere. But let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more to get a better idea of what's going on with price. Yeah, so we start to look a little bit more over here. Start to get a refined area, but then now we're looking, okay, well, mitigation of the open. Price comes down right here. Okay, price comes in, mitigates this zone nicely. So what I'm seeing here, like this, boom, right? So it breaks this. Then what do we have left? We have a perfect candle right in there. And then it goes ahead, falls off, comes back, falls off, comes back, falls off, slight pullback, and then falls off. So I'd have to ultimately say, let's go ahead and remove that. And man, this does look quite confusing, because you could say this is a very dookie looking NB, right? And it just falls off the face of the cliff, face of the earth. And there's not really a nice zone in there. I don't know. GJ doesn't look very good to me right now for the way that I like to trade. So let's go. I mean, we don't want to just be. We could make a story just to make a story. We do it quite often. I do it quite often. But I don't know. It's just not looking. A lot of stuff's not looking good right now. Let's go into gold. Let's see what's going on with gold. Okay, great on the 1 hour. Looks pretty clear. It looks like we're wicking down. I think we can come and run all of this liquidity, quote unquote, quote unquote. Some people are going negative. Maybe they don't have a stop loss because, well, it was shown by FTMO that most traders don't use a stop loss. Let's see FTMO report. Let's go here. Hold on. The year 2021 numbers. Let's go ahead and see, right? Because I want to show you this is important, right? Because I think I say this not quite often, but I do say it. I mention it. So 960,000 trading accounts on their platform, right? 3 new trades every second. They paid out 29 million last year. 1,000 FTMO accounts, 107. Where is it? I'm trying to figure out what the stats were where people were failing. So more than 11% of our clients remaining 6 months. So this is an interesting one. In the middle of the year, we also started offering swing accounts, which was used by more than 11%, chosen 87% of orders. And we paid an average of 4,685. I was trying to look for, Deloitte's Fast 50 awards. That's pretty cool. What I was trying to find out was the amount of people who didn't use stop losses. The most popular instances were US30 and the NASDAQ, which makes sense. FTMO report, why traders fail. Everybody was talking about this. Was the riff and the rave of the trading space, right? And people were trying to analyze this type of stuff, so it was more difficult. No, we're not looking for that. Or was it My Forex Fund? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out that particular link, because there was an actual report from one of these prop firms, and obviously these prop firms have all the data, so you definitely want to realize what they're saying, right? And I remember it's been said, and I want to validate this. I'm gonna validate this, and maybe I'll recant this statement in the future. But it was said, poor risk management. There we go. If you risk more than 25%, 2% each trade, right? So this is where he's not giving specific examples of data from these prop firms, but the idea is like people typically they risk a lot, right? They don't risk they you see people when they first get in, they're risking like 5-10%, something absolutely ridiculous, but it's cool. Maybe you do risk that. But do you have a trading plan? Do you have a plan to exit, right? Do you know this is where I'm going to put a stop loss? A lot of people don't use stop losses. A lot of people don't stick in the game for a long time. A lot of people don't analyze their trades. And so it's one of the main reasons why I created this channel, for accountability purposes. And I think ultimately you can see the process and you can implement the process on your own so that you can be consistently profitable. So anyways, we're looking here. Prices started to come down here. We want to go ahead and potentially see that we're not going to trade gold today. I did a lot of talking right there, right, Brandon? You did a lot of talking right there, man. You didn't say nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see here. Okay, we had a wick down. We didn't see a body close, so it's not really that strong to me. I think maybe absorption will probably see some upward momentum, just ever so slightly, right? Because we have we have a good amount of potential liquidity where people are probably going to go negative. And I mean, look at this. Oh my goodness. Like, look at this large move up. We're definitely coming to fill all of that price. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put the zone here, because this is what I'm seeing, right? Price moves up really, really high. Boom, breaks up. Where's the last down move before this huge up move? I'd have to argue right here. We maybe have a potential mitigation of the open, but I still like this area. I like it a lot. So what I'm actually looking at, right, as I'm looking at this right here, this is starting to look pretty solid here on the Bitcoin. But I think ultimately we are in a short-term bearish trend here. And I think we're going to continue to see downward price action. So we're starting to look here. We see price, boom, break down. Okay, great. So maybe we come back up here to mitigate this last little up move, right? Last little up move. We're going to come and mitigate that before we fall off. Or we just fall off. Right, we'll go ahead and put an alert there just so we can go ahead and track that and see, because I'm pretty sure it's going to go down to that zone below, that demand zone. Looks very, very juicy. Okay, so What are you going to do? We have this up move. Let's go ahead and just draw it out so everyone can see. This is what I'm looking at here, right? Why is... There we go. Just like that. Boom. Bam, right? We had a body close over here, right? We had break up. Right here came from down here. Breakdown. Bam. Body close. Below this low right here. Came up. Fell off. So we're going to look for a potential trade off of this particular supply zone. I think maybe we start to have very damn, we have an anchor, so this is signaling maybe potential bottom on the 5 minute, but I mean, again, this is very short time frame, and we might see something come down again here, maybe liquidate this before going up here, fall off, right? Because we see a lot of red right here, but that typically means, as you can see, right, we're going to have some type of movement like this, and then we'll have a nice little move up, and then we'll have it down. So that's what I'm expecting here as well. We have some boom, 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 right? Let me draw that out. Let me draw that out. Boom, 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 boom. Something like that, right? So, anyways, that is my trade ideas for 11/3, y'all. Go ahead and hit the comment section. Go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to continue with me on the journey becoming consistently profitable. I hope y'all have an absolutely wonderful day. It's your boy B Phil. I'm gone. Peace.